So guys, what we've been doing, you know that we've been cracking on with this build. It's been an amazing build, really enjoyed it. We're now working on the paneling and the staircase. The one thing I've gone and done is actually I've gone and bought, always wanted one of these. So I'm really excited that I've gone and actually bought one. It's a UJK system. You can rise and fall on this. You can obviously move this in and out the fence here. It's got the fine adjuster on the back as well. I've always wanted one of these. I went for the cast iron base because you can get the laminated bases, but the cast iron base, the dust extraction, which is an optional extra as well, and then obviously I've gone for the professional mitre jig that moves up and down here. So I'll let you know what I think about it. So what I'm going to be doing, guys, is I'm going to be feeding some material through this and getting it to the right thickness. Got my extractor set up. So you can see I've got like a little joinery shop. So I've got an extraction onto the saw here. I've got my relevant hand tools that I need here and other bits and bobs. So what I'm going to do is I'm now going to prep the relevant timber and get it ready into the right lengths, because what I'm going to be doing is forming these shapes, which are basically all the rails for the staircase, which are going up into the loft conversion. So what I've got to do, guys, is I've got to replicate this mould, you see. And you can see on this nice straight bit, they're great if I'm just doing square panels, straightforward. But what I've got to do is have the same piece of timber this width with this mould. That's why I bought the router jig, because I can actually then I can move the folding like this and get my mould on. But this is just my running jig, so the bearing of the router will run on this. That's the thickness I've got to plane it to. Now what I'm going to do is get some skirting, which has been left over, the client doesn't need, it's surplus to requirements. I'm going to cut it to the right lengths, and then I'm going to put it through the planer and put the extractor to it as well. There we go, push it there. That's it. No, that's long enough there. Go this way, be better. Spin it around. That might actually do these smaller pieces here. Yeah, well, I'll get two out of that, which is good. Cut all the relevant timbers to the length that I want. What I'm going to now do is process it now through the planer to get it to the thickness I need it to be. Obviously I've got to do quite a lot of planing actually. That's 32 mil, so if I set the planer at 30 mil and start at that point, okay guys? Right, I'm on 30 mil. All I've got to do now is plug the extractor in. The equipment you can see here at the moment, this is what we use on all of our sites as we're doing the finer joinery detail. We've got a bandsaw from Axminster Tools. We've got a router now. The one thing that's just arrived for this router is the dust extraction, and then the professional mitre gauge fence that I'm going to be using. But I'm going to definitely knock that up in the next half an hour, because then I can connect all my extraction then to it. Chops are over there. The reason I put everything on wheels, it allows me to move things around really efficiently. So now I've moved the planer out of the way. Guys, what I'm going to be doing is I'm actually now going to be cutting out with the bandsaw. While I was away a few weeks ago, I asked one of the lads to make some templates of the staircase, the top of the string and the top of the panelling, and he made an amazing job of them. But what he didn't do, I asked him to make sure he extended these a further 50 mil, because as we all know, so if you're using routers or spindle moulders, you need the top of the template a little bit longer than the actual workpiece that you're dealing with. And the simple reason being is, as you then run this edge into the router, you need to make sure there's a bit of a leading edge. And you'll see what I mean when I go over to the router machine over there later on and I trim all the new ones up. These are cut dead to size, so that's dead to size. I'm going to give myself 50 mil extra over the end. Same over here, 50 mil extra over the end here. And I'll draw around the template. What I'll do then is I'll actually then just extend this now forward like that. So I've got a nice line there, nice line them through here, there we go, like that. Draw the line so I know it finishes, cut that out, so I'll make that then C, that's C. I've then got D here, so I'm going to get that quite close to it because it's pointless wasting the material, isn't it? So I'll get it quite close. because this is the bottom one because it's wider than the top rail. I've already actually machined a couple here. I've allowed a small amount of material to go past the pencil line, because when I tap then the original jigs that Phil did for me, I tap them back on, and the bearing on the router, on the fluted router cutter, will actually then run to the actual jig itself, and then it will take this excess material off and give me a lovely clean line. That's what I want. Okay guys, so let me now get the bandsaw on that, and then I'll get them all cut, and then we'll then go onto the router, and then we'll set the right cutter in, and then we'll set everything, and you'll see what I'm going to do, guys. Okay. So as you know guys, I've bought a UJK router and the actual whole sort of assembly kit, and the one thing that wasn't there when I purchased it was the dust extraction, because I'm using a lot of MDF, and then obviously it's just better to have the dust extraction system, because I've got a dust extractor over there. So you get a nice dust extraction. Look, there's two outlets actually. You've got the main outlet, and obviously that's an outlet then going into, looking at it, I would think that's probably for the router extraction at the top. Yeah, it is. Look at this over here, guys. They've really thought about it, because obviously this extraction will go down below underneath the router, and then this is the other extraction. So they've got two extraction points, one for the top bit here, and then obviously then one from underneath. So fair play to them, like that. Like every other bloke, you don't really look at the extractions, do you? But look, there it is there. So guys, I'm really pleased with this router and the UJK bed, because it's just absolutely brilliant, makes life a lot easier. I'm now going to obviously use these MDF templates to then run onto the pieces of softwood, cut them out with the bandsaw, then finish them off with the router, just like I've just been doing with the MDF. But then after I've done that, I'm going to then put a nice lovely mould on it, and then I can then fit to the staircase panelling, and it'll look absolutely beautiful. So guys, it's really funny. This morning I was on a digger. Now I'm in the little joinery shop on the other job. That's why I love this job. 1 minute I'm on my digger, next time I'm here doing a load of fine carpentry work. So what I'm going to be doing today is, you've seen me earlier, I've run these moulds off. I'm just going to finish them off and run that through with my spoke shave. Same with this. I'm going to do the same with this as well. Just run that and get that knobble out. Look, you see it just there? Little ridge, going to get rid of that. I'm going to work on doing all of those, and then I'm going to place that on there, draw around it, cut it out on the bandsaw, and then run it on the router, then getting it ready then to put the mould on for the staircase panelling. Okay guys, so here we go, let's go to it. That's better. Right, that's nice, I'm happy with that now. I've just got this little bit here to do. So what I'm going to do is get my hand plane on that. That's that one, lovely, look at that. I've planed all the relevant material up to the right thickness that I need now. All I've got to do is draw around each of the templates, cut them out with a bandsaw, and then I can then start working on the new route. I'm really excited about this, so I can't wait to get onto it. the nail, take down to the stop, get my pincers, level it off like that, and then all I'm going to do is just move in 3mm. That's then ready to run on the router over here. I'll probably actually wind that blade down a little bit. Look where the grain is, so you know as you're cutting through here, what will happen, it will spelch. So as I get closer to this, I actually then back cut here, so you'll see me do this. Now watch. Stops it spelching out. The UJK router is absolutely brilliant, and I've got to say it is a game changer. It makes life a lot easier when you're trying to router something. You haven't got big spindle mold and stuff, because I haven't, and you've got a router and you can throw it underneath and leave it there, as well as the other molding routers. It makes the production time a lot quicker. It allows you to do all this lovely curve work quite simple and easy, but the only thing they don't do is the ring fence. Why don't they do a ring fence? So I'm now gonna have to try and make one up. So this is what I'm now gonna do. Hopefully it's not gonna fail. First thing I'm gonna do is got myself a bit of ply. Now the reason I've gone with this ply is because I want it to be able to clamp down really well here. So that's made it nice and wide. And what I need to do with a ring fence, if you don't know about ring fences, I want to put the ring, the circular part of this ring fence up to this cutter. So as I'm running this mold here onto the MDF where you can see the bearing went before, that's where the ring fence is going to hit along there, which will allow me then to put the mold on. And it's really key that I sort of think about how I'm going to do this and the way I've got it easy, because obviously save through is a massive factor. So this is my plan. So I'm going to go halfway. That will give me the tin position then, because pretty much got a seam here, so that's going to be halfway there. I'm actually then going to make it go the other way like that. That's 158mm. So halfway is really nice, isn't it? I figure that coming on there like that means it's just going to be hitting that point. I just need to clear out a bit of the plywood here. What I need to do is make the top part of that work with what I'm doing. I need this bit to hit this MDF here, but not hit the cutter there. I need to come into the cutter, looking at it, about halfway here. So I need to make sure my template is hitting at least this point here, because in that way I know it's covering the MDF. Also I'm leaving a lot of strength in this as well. So it's that bit there that's got to be come out, so I've got to take out this bit here. Now I can actually do that with the saw, can't I, guys? Now I give it a little bit more because it means that what I can actually do now is use my hand plane and just clean it up. I'm using the layers of ply to give me guys to get the right depth. Oh yeah, look at that, guys. What I've got to do now is get the right depth, and the way I'm going to set that is by this key centre point cutter. Key thing is the clamps. Just need one the other side, can't move then, which is key. So I'm really pleased. My ring fence worked beautifully. And it's been absolutely perfect to do the mold. I'm just going to use the ring fence again, just put a small little mold in there, and it'll be absolutely perfect. I'm really, really pleased with it, guys. So how to make a ring fence for a UJK machine. Oh dear. There we go, that's it. So obviously this come in a ring fence of 63mm, the cutter was 68, so obviously I burnt through this, made it very tight, but it still did the test of time, did a really, really good job, so really pleased with that. Because I'm going to be using a lot smaller cutter, I'm dropping down the size. What I'm going to do now is put that cutter in there to give me this bit of a mould on here. Just to sculpt that out a little bit, just to give it a little bit of a roll mould. You can see it there, look guys. So the first thing I'm going to do is lift the bed up. Now it makes a hell of a noise when you first start this up with this big cutter, but once it gets going it's fine. There we go. And there's always a guide point on these. That one there is just like a little V. So I'll put it to there. And I'm just going to tighten that up now. Wind it down a bit. Put that disc back on. There we go. And then all I'm going to do is just tighten that disc up now. Has been really successful. All I've got to do now is get a little bit of sandpaper, sand that little arris off there, it'll be absolutely perfect. Just gives us that little extra bit of mould detail that I wanted. It'll end up probably getting lost through the decoration over the years, but at least I've tried to get it exactly the best I can. First one done. All I've got to do now is get them trimmed into the actual main panelling of the staircase, and then put the uprights, mitre the uprights in, and that's it, it's done. So I'm just really pleased.